So we're just waiting for Rochelle to get here. She should be here any second. She's usually a last minute type of person, so we'd have to do our 10 minutes of warm up anyway, so. How you doing? Well, thank you. Get you to sign in, please, when you have a second, just like everybody else did. We have a perfect 4 today. Awesome, Rochelle's here, yay! Yep, I'll get another ball. You guys can start with one. Oh, where the hell do the little balls go? Where did all the balls go? They're there. You don't have to apologize to Jane. Jane hits hard. Yeah, halfway. Yep. So the key to this one is to keep your paddle close to the ball. If you bring your paddle far away from the ball, when you go to hit it, your stroke is too long and you're going to hit it too far. So keep your paddle close to the ball. Yeah, no, just let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. So I want to keep my paddle close to the ball. See how much easier it is? Keep your paddle close to the ball. And then you got to convince Rochelle not to hit with topspin.
I know. I can't do topspin.
Yes, you can.
I do it accidentally.
But you can still do it. There you go. Hit her in the face. Good. Okay, everybody, we're going to start. We're going to do a mental mapping clinic today. I need to start with a demonstration to just convince you of, not to convince you, to illustrate how something works. So Rochelle, I'm going to get you here. Jane, I'm going to get you here. Alex, you can stay where you are. Susan, you can stay where you are. So, are you inside or outside of the pickleball court, Susan? Are you on the pickleball court or off of the pickleball court? Okay. Now, how do you know that? You can see the lines. Okay. Are you on or outside? And how do you know? You can see the lines. That's okay. Are you in or off the pickleball court? On or off? You're off. How do you know? Okay. So you can see the lines. Okay. So you know that you're out of the court because you can see the lines. Okay. Awesome. Alex, I'm going to get you to stand right here. Rochelle, I'm going to get you to stand, and you guys can line up the opposite way over there. Rochelle, you stand here. Yep. Good. I want everybody to close your eyes. Well, not yet. Hang on one second. Look at me. Look at me. Open your eyes. Look at me. Everybody's going to move that way when I say. And you're going to move like this. 1, 2, 3, and I'll keep counting. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes and you're going to move. Okay, yeah. Close your eyes. Resist opening them. Okay, take the first step. 1. Your left, Alex. Yeah. Take another step. 1 more. Take another step. Another step. Keep your eyes closed. Another step. Another step. Another step. Stop. Don't open your eyes. Jane, are you? Alex, don't open your eyes. Don't. Okay, Alex is out. Jane, are you inside or outside of the court? Okay, can you see the lines? Open your eyes. Okay, don't say anything. Susan, inside or outside of the court? How do you know? Just your judgment. You can't see the lines though, right? Rochelle, inside or outside? Okay, open your eyes and look. Yeah, you're pretty close, yeah. You're outside. Okay, so there's more to it than just being able to see the lines, right? You knew that you were outside. How did you know you were outside? Okay, so you just based on the distance that you believed that you traveled. You couldn't see the distance that you traveled, right? But you felt that you were outside. Okay, everybody, come in here, stand here with your back to me, and close your eyes. We're just going to work on sound now. I'm going to hit a ball, and I want you to tell me whether it's inside or outside of the court. I want you to listen to the racket hit, and as soon as you hear the racket hit, I want you to say inside or outside. I don't want you to hear the bounce. I want you to say it as soon as you hear the racket hit the ball. Okay, you were right. Look at me. How did you know that? Okay, but you couldn't see the ball, right? So your brain has maps in it, right? And in pickleball, we use visual maps, we use kinesthetic maps, which is where our body is in space, and we use auditory maps, right? We can auditory. Good, that's a good joke. Use what?
No, that wasn't a joke.
I would use that joke though. My wife works for Alberta Health Service, and she oversees a bunch of things, and one of them is the auditory speech department, or the auditory, an auditory branch. And every time she raises it, I say, what? And it's an inside joke, and I still get her on it almost every time. Okay, so you have mental maps. Your body knows where it is in space. You can hear from the sound when somebody strikes a pickleball. You know whether it's going to be in or out, or you can have a pretty good guess. And then you also have visual, right? You can see the way a ball is traveling. You can see the speed that it's traveling at. You can see the arc, right? So we get information in different ways. But if you don't train your brain to know the visual cues, you don't train your brain to know the auditory cues, and you're not paying attention to where you physically are in space, you don't get very good at mental mapping, right? Good players know, even when they're looking up and they're moving backwards, when they're crossing the back line, right? Good players know as soon as the ball comes off of somebody's racket, whether it's probably going to be in or probably going to be out. And part of that is the visual, and part of it is the sound, right? You also get context clues, right? So if I take a big long swing from here, my racket starts back here, right? Like your husband, right? It's probably going out, even if it's got a lot of topspin on it, right? The speed of the swing, the transfer of weight, you get all of this information. But you need to train your brain to recognize things so that you don't stick your racket up and prevent the out balls from going out, right? So if I'm here and I'm looking up and I can't even see the lines, 1, 2, 3, I'm probably right on the back line. Very close, okay? So I couldn't see the lines on the court, but I knew approximately where I was in space. And often the high balls are the ones that we take out of the air because we're not where we are in space. We're not aware of where we are in space. You need to train your brain to do that. It's hard to do in a game. It's great to do in practice, but come back onto the court. I'm actually going to split you guys up. You need to spend some time physically on the court stepping things out so that you know where the lines are, right? You need to almost feel them, right? That's part of the process, right? So I want you to grab a court or a half court. There's 3 courts in this room. And I want you to just spend some silent time mental mapping the court. Okay, there's a court over there. Jane and Susan can go down here. Rochelle, you can come over to this side. Alec, on your side. I want you to, this is an important part of the process. Physically move around the court and think about where the lines are. So I noticed that everybody's looking down at the lines, right? One of the things that you can do is move to a sideline. Say, okay, here's a sideline. What are my visual cues, right? What are my visual cues that I'm at this sideline, right? Where am I in relation to the lights, right? The lights are a big indicator. So on this particular court, these lights are right above this line, right? So I can use that as a visual cue. And that's good because I'm looking up, right? Where's my back line? Okay, if I'm standing behind the back line and I'm looking up, this fan is just a little bit in front of me, right? So there's visual cues on the ceiling. There's also the net as a visual cue, right? So and you learn this when you're working on around the posts. You get to know where the post is when you work on around the posts. But you have to remember when you're not working on that the post is actually outside. People have a tendency to, when a ball passes over this part of the net, they have a tendency to reach out to try and hit it anyway, even though it's already out of the court, because they're not really paying attention to the relationship between the post and the line, right? There's another visual cue right there. So as you're doing this, don't just focus on the kinesthetic, focus on the visual as well, because each court's a little bit different. These lights are way outside of this line, but on that court, that row of lights is a really good indicator, and so is this row of lights, right? So think about all that. I'm just going to give you 5 minutes of quiet time to just process. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so that's the first concept. Just come on in. First concept. When I'm going to go play at a competition somewhere, when I used to play squash, for example, or tennis, I would go half an hour early. If it was a new facility, I would go a half an hour early just to be on the court and be around the court, right? Even if I couldn't go on and play, I would be walking around the court looking at the visuals, right? Getting a sense of where the lines are. When you play outside with the sky and you don't have a ceiling for reference, it's very different, right? You get fences that are a different depth away from the baseline than the walls, right? Some nets are configured a little bit differently. Sometimes they configure the net specifically for their facility, right? So the posts are in slightly different places. You need to teach your brain where the lines are, and you need to teach your brain that the lines matter, right? So there needs to be some kind of consequence. So I used to visualize that I'm really afraid of heights. And I used to visualize that this was the edge of an apartment building, right? On top of a tall tower. And I used to visualize that I wanted to stay away from here. And I'm so afraid of heights that I would be aware of that, right? I would just visualize it. Whatever you need to do, you want to teach yourself where the lines are, because when we're playing racket sports, the lines are important, very important, right? And so we need to start that process. The people who are having trouble with this issue, with mental mapping and not letting balls go out, just haven't taken the time to teach their brain where the lines are. And they haven't emphasized to their brain that the lines are important, right? And once you do that, the whole context in your mind starts to change. So we're going to work on some drills today where we're just going to think about the importance of lines. Alex, can you be my partner for a second? Okay, so I'll get you guys right in here. I don't want anybody to get ahead. I'm just going to pass you a ball, Alex. Okay, so Alex is going to drop a ball on the ground and hit me a ground stroke. Oh, sorry, I'm going to back up to here. And I want you to try and just feed the ball to my belly button. The ground stroke, yeah, just try to feed the ball to my belly button. Good. Here's another one. Go ahead. There we go. So I knew that one was high, and I knew it was going to go out, so I let it go. Okay, give me another one. Good. So the person here is going to work on just blocking stuff back into the kitchen. This is called a reset, volley reset. We're just going to work on volley resets. But the other thing you're working on, and the reason I told Alex to hit my belly button is some of them are going to go out. Basically, anything that's above my belly button, if it's moving at any speed, is probably going to go out. So if I put my paddle at my belly button and he feeds me the ball and it's coming above my paddle, I'm just going to step aside, I'm going to watch it go, and I'm going to teach my brain which balls are in and out. So we're going to start with stationary. We're not moving. We're just judging whether the ball's in or out for now. Okay? So Rochelle, you can come here. Jane, you can go there. Susan, you can be here. We'll move the hopper to the center. You guys are just going to do one hand feed. So you're going to drop it on the ground, hit it to them. They're going to try and put it back to you. You're going to catch it, and then feed another one. So we're going to do, it's okay there because you guys aren't going to be moving, right? Okay, so aim for their belly buttons. And this way you get reset practice too. Off the ground, Jane, off the ground. So now Alex is hitting pretty hard, right? So if you think they're going out, even at that height, step aside and let them go out. See what happens. Oops. Let a few of them go out. Let's see what happens. I was out. Pause 1 second. Just pause 1 second. I'm going to replace you, Rochelle, just for a second. Watch out. Okay, go ahead, Alex, feed me. Just like you were feeding Rochelle. Okay, another one. Out. If I don't let some of these go by and watch where they land, my brain is never going to figure out which ones are in and out, right? So I don't care if some of them land in. If I think there's any chance they're going out, I want to let them go, and I want to show my brain which ones are in and out so that I can get really good at predicting which ones are in and which ones are out. So Alex is feeding at a very different speed than Jane was. Most of Jane's were in, but almost all of Alex are going to be out. So keep that in mind. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Good. That was out. Out. Yep. Oh, that was going to be out, Susan. Yep. Yep. Let it go. Yep. Out. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Okay, let's switch roles. I'm going to be picking up balls around you guys, but if there's a loose one on the court, go ahead and pick it up. You guys can get started. I'll pick up. Pause 1 second. Heels on the white line. Heels on the white line. Jane, heels on the white line. Out. Ball in your feet, Alex. 3 balls in your feet, actually. Yep. Okay, pause for a second. Let's do a quick court pickup. We're going to switch roles. And we're going to add an element. Okay, I want you to pay attention now as well to the sound that the paddle is making when it strikes the ball. Switch sides. You two switch sides. Yeah. Okay, so in addition to watching, in addition to processing the visual information, we're also going to listen to the sound now. I'm going to listen to you guys, to listen to the sound that the paddle makes when it strikes the ball. But you guys do it as well, because you're also learning when your balls are going out. I want you to think about the paddle and the ball like a musical instrument. If you hit a drum in the center of the paddle, it makes a completely different sound than if you hit a drum in the center of the membrane. It makes a very different sound than if you hit the drum near the rim, right? Different sounds. Your paddle is the same thing. If you hit it in the center, it makes a different sound than it does at the edge. If you hit it hard, it makes a different sound than if you hit it soft. So I want you to become aware of the sounds that your paddle is making because it's giving you information. It's giving you information as a striker, and it's giving you information as the receiver. Okay? So pay attention to that sound. It's really important. Okay? Let's pay attention. This is going to be quiet. There's going to be no talking at all, Jane. No talking, Jane. Okay, just, what's that? No shrieking. Okay, so everybody's listening to the sound of the ball striking the paddle striking the ball. I got it. So loose balls, kick them off to the curtain. Oh, that was going out. Okay, switch roles. Switch roles. A few more minutes of the same thing, just silent, everybody processing, becoming aware of the sound, the different sounds. Okay, pause. We're not going to switch roles. Just push all the balls off towards the side. Any loose balls on the court, just push off towards the curtain. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but from an angle. So Alex is going to be hitting to Rochelle. Susan's going to be hitting to Jane. Heels on the white line still. Now you're going to notice, so I still want you to go for their belly button. This is still important. You're going to go for Jane's belly button. You're going to go for Rochelle's belly button. Okay? Yeah, exactly. You're eager. You want to hit everything. Okay, pause. So the first thing you're going to notice, strikers, is anything that passes on one side of your body is almost certainly out. Anything that passes on the other side has a different depth, right? So you have to be aware of where you are on the court and how a ball, in Rochelle's case, a ball that passes the right side of her body is going to go out almost every time. But a ball that passes on her left side has a different criteria. So you need to be aware of those criteria, right? So a mental map. So look at your lines, figure out where your lines are. Okay, go ahead. Good. Okay, let's do a pickup. Sorry, I had to stop and teach there, so I wasn't picking up. There you go. All right, Rochelle and Jane, you can stay on this side. Susan and Alec, you can go to the other side. We're going to do the diagonals again. So receivers, I want you to stay. You're going to be here on the white line. And I want you to stay kind of in the center of your box. Don't get too close to your sideline. So Rochelle, you're going to be aiming for her belly button. So just if you look here, Rochelle's aiming for my belly button. The longest line here is directly through me, right? To the right, look at how close the line is. To the left, look how far away the line is, right? If I reach out to this line, I can see that it's the length of my arm plus just a little bit more. Whereas over here, it's the length of my arm plus the length of my arm again, right? So I have to become physically aware of the differences where I am and where the longest stretch is, which is this stretch back here, right? So keep that in mind. Pause 1 second. So give them enough time after you've hit them a ball for them to stop and reacquaint themselves to exactly where the lines are. So just slow this down a little bit. Good. Okay, let's do a pickup. Let's do a pickup. And then we'll take a water break. And then we're going to come back in the room and do something else. Here you go, Alex. Oh, you got one? You can take that one. I'll give this one to Susan. Here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got this one. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I left the door open. My mistake. Sometimes they roll all the way through into Joe's office. No, not today.
And 2 weeks of surgery. Yeah,
So we're going to play a game for the last 45 minutes. We're going to play regular pickleball, but we're going to completely change the scoring system. The only way that you can get a point is if the other team hits a ball out of bounds. Hits the ball out of bounds. Right? So if the play isn't, if the point isn't, if the ball isn't hit out of bounds, just do the normal, like I lost my serve or second serve, whatever. Do all that normal stuff. We're just not going to keep score of that. We're only going to keep score of balls that land out of bounds, right? So if your team hits a ball out of bounds, you guys get a point. Right? We're going to do all of no. It has to land out of bounds. Yep, because we're only focused on, for the purposes of this game, letting balls go out. So the only way you can get a point is let your opponent hit a ball out, or if you think about it at a more advanced level, causing your opponent to hit the ball out. Right? Causing your opponent to hit the ball out.
Or letting it go.
Just letting it go.
And see that it actually goes out instead of hitting the ball is actually like at our
Yeah.
level, there's so many balls that go out that we hit.
Yeah.
And so really it's like the point is to let it go.
Yeah.
Actually not hitting that ball.
Yeah, and that's how we think about it at the beginner level, but at a more advanced level, I'm putting the ball in your feet so that you have to hit too hard, right? So that you'll hit it out. So you can actually cause that to happen. So, and then after we learn this game, after we play this game, I'm going to give you your task for the week, which is to go out and play your rack games and spend the entire game familiarizing yourself where the lines are and letting your opponents, like, keep mental track, just yourself, a private personal scorecard of how many times you earned a point by just letting your opponent hit out. People think that they have to hit the ball for a winner all the time. That's not how I get 75% of my points. 75% of my points I get from the other person making a mistake. Just keep the ball in play until they make a mistake. I try and put it in an uncomfortable position to cause them to make a mistake. And a very common mistake is hitting the ball out of bounds, right? So this is what we need to learn to do. Learn not to have to hit everything and think that's the only way to get a point, okay? A big, big part of pickleball is what we're working on today, okay? You're not going to do it, though, without teaching your brain where the lines are and teaching your brain that the lines are important. They're important, right? Recognizing when a ball is going to go out is important. It's an important skill, okay? And everybody can learn it, but we just have to tell our brain that it's important, because if our brain knows it's important, it will regulate our behavior. Make sense? Okay, let's go play the game and work on that. We'll have Alec and Susan versus Jane and Rochelle.
Hey.
So play all of the points and the side out, or sorry, all of the rallies and the side outs and the serves as usual, but we're only going to count a point, an actual point, when the ball goes out of bounds. Okay? Doesn't matter. Next serve, Susan serve. Oh, I guess it would be side out, wouldn't it? It would be side out. I'm sorry. Yep. No, no score. Was that ball going to be in? Do you think it was going to be in? Okay. It was slow enough. It was probably in. Okay. So every time the ball goes down and we're getting reset, I want you to, wherever you are, take a look at where the lines are. Familiarize yourself with the lines. Tell your brain it's important to know where they are. Okay, familiarize yourself with the lines. Oh, it was in, but it was close. It was very close. That was excellent, Jane. Excellent. Now, has anybody actually hit a ball out? Oh, you did? Oh, yes, you did. You're right. You're right. You're right. I was out. Yep. So one of the things that happens when we have line awareness matches like this, people stop hitting out because they're very aware of where the lines are. So this works two ways. One, one. 1, 2. What's the score, Susan? 1, 3. Okay. 2, 2, right? 3, 1. This was out. First team to 3 wins. 3. bad throw. So that's an out. So that, how many points? What's the score now? Wrong side is out, right? 2-2. Okay, 2-2. Okay, we won't count serves. Never mind. We'll just count boundary lines. Okay. Good. That's how you get a point. Let it land. Okay, so that's good. So letting that land in this game causes you no harm. Causes you no harm. So that's the way you win this game, is let balls land and see if they're out. Anything close, you should be letting go.
And get ready for it.
Yeah.
There's the other side of it. If I'm going to let it go, I could do back here, so it touches the line.
Yep, for sure. Yep. 2-2. You hit it out, right? I was out. Hit it out. So that's 3 points for you guys. So you guys win. Yeah. Yeah. So when I'm teaching, it's hard for me to keep track of the score. So I'm going to count on you guys to keep track of the score. So touch paddles, and then we'll have Rochelle and Susan versus Alec and Jane. So, and we'll just keep mixing it up. You guys keep playing this 3-point. I want you to learn this game today, and I want you to have experience playing it, because this is how you teach your brain to let balls go out during a game. Okay, so you guys keep playing. I'm going to organize my next lesson here. Don't forget to take a moment to, wherever you're standing, to familiarize yourself with where the lines are. Okay, so come on in. It's okay. It's a process, right? And as long as you keep telling your brain, that was an important mistake. That was important. Just keep stressing to your brain how important it is, right? That you know where the lines are and that you have to develop the discipline to let stuff go. Just keep, it's a process. You'll get better at it. I promise you, if you keep telling your brain it's important, your brain will eventually tell you it's important.
And if it's within like 1 foot of the line, like that one, I wasn't sure it was in, and it landed in, but it was just letting it go.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to know what it is.
That's why we play this game, because there is no penalty for letting stuff go. That's good. We want to learn. We want to see.
We really want to try to let stuff go.
We really want to try to let stuff go.
Really sure it's in.
Yeah.
Really sure it's in.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it for this game. Don't hit something unless you're really sure it's in. Okay? Because you're trying to teach yourself something here. Okay? Okay, familiarize yourself with where the lines are. Familiarize yourself with where the lines are, Alec. Good. Good. Now tell your brain it did a good job. So it was a good job, brain. Doesn't matter. As soon as the ball goes out, they get a point. Okay. Oops. Automatic win. Automatic win. If you knock Alec's hat off, it's an automatic win.